Welcome to Talking Technology with NCBI Labs, where we believe that technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you are interested in the latest technology news, products, and innovations, then you've come to the right place.
Yes, hello and welcome to Talking Technology with NCBI Labs, episode number 24. It's our first episode of February. Can you believe we're in the second month of the year already? Hope you enjoyed the bank holiday weekend. Hope you got an extra day off and got that little chance to relax. It really does make a massive difference, doesn't it? So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got to play with some cool technology. And now, hopefully, who knows, maybe you're listening to us back in work, back in the office, and hopefully we'll keep you entertained for the next little while. We've got a packed show coming up over the next hour and a bit. We're going to be talking air fryers, hoovers, smoke alarms, and seeing AI. You can't really get more than that in any other podcast now, can you? So if you do want to get in touch with us over the next little while, you can send an email to labs@ncbi.ie, or you can use the Q&A panel if you're listening to us or watching us on Microsoft Teams. We'll take your questions and we'll answer them throughout the show if we receive them. So do interact with us. We don't bite. And yeah, enjoy the show. So let's go to our first topic then, shall we? Robot hoovers. They're becoming more and more popular. We have a little fella at home. We call him Dusty. And poor old Dusty doesn't get used a whole lot, but someone who has been using a robot hoover in the last few days is our first guest, who has been testing out the Hoover for us, the Roborock Hoover. And yeah, we're really excited to hear about this Hoover. So let's welcome our first guest to Talking Technology. It's Deirdre. Hi, Deirdre. How are things?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
We can indeed. Yeah. So
Good.
Deirdre, you've been testing out this Roborock vacuum cleaner. First of all, do you want to tell us a little bit about the vacuum cleaner? What were your first impressions when it arrived?
Oh, okay. When it arrived, I had to, it was a bit daunting. Well, not what I said daunting. It was just I had to download there's an app. I downloaded an app, the Roborock app, and then catch it to the wide. There's a few little bits I had to do with it, and but then once I got that going and charging up, it was fine. It was grand. It was pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. It can work from your phone, or it can work from manually by pressing the button.
Okay.
So yeah. So I was using it manually, just by pressing the button. There's 3 buttons. Just the on-off button for it to clean up or to hoover, and then the other 2 then is just to boot up the Wi-Fi. It was called what has it shown to me? It was the
like a kind of connection button, kind of, is it?
Yeah. There was 2. It was 2 that side. I forget now the name, but then it was 2.
That's okay.
Down,
yeah.
And that should load up the That's annoying me now. I can't think of it. Hang on, I got
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
I have a charge at the moment. Anyway, sorry, I have a charge at the moment. It's here charging at the moment. Yeah, it was kind of like a narrow, like a home key, and kind of like a square. You press them 2 buttons, and then it just connects the Wi-Fi, and then it just say Wi-Fi setup, and just go through all your Wi-Fi. It asks for a passcode and your Wi-Fi, the modem, and yeah, it was pretty straightforward. And then, as I was saying, I was using it just manually by pressing the button, and it just takes off and just goes around. It's great. And
Okay.
One thing I found very fascinating by it was when it went low in battery, and went back to the charging port, the charging charging
station.
What's called the charging station? Yeah, went back itself, and charged up itself. So it was great.
And did you find that it got lost at all, or did it have a fairly good sense of direction fairly quick?
Yeah, it was very, Yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't get lost. Maybe I suppose. Maybe it was. I was kind of guiding it, but it follows its own. It follows its own. Like there's different zones it follows.
Okay.
The robot Planet's cleaning. It's Planet's cleaning route, and it'll scan the room.
And Deirdre, this is Joe. Deirdre, this is Joe here. Your son has an interest in technology as well. Did your son Oisín give it a go?
Yeah, he was. Well, I suppose he's going out. My go with 2 different goes, Joe. Yeah. But he enjoyed it. Yeah, he enjoyed it. He was just watching where's it going. He was following it around like with sound, like he was following it with the Joe cleaning. Like he was following it. He was able to follow with the sound of it, and he was following it around the on the room. But no, it is. It's a good thing. It's a handy. So it is actually. It is. I'd recommend it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't say no, don't. But it is. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, sorry, Daniel.
Daniel here, and just a quick question.
Daniel, how are you?
How are you, Deirdre?
Good
it's
now.
amazing hearing about this little device. And from your own point of view, is it as good a clean job as you would have done yourself?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. But I'm OCD anyway, Daniel. I'm OCD anyway. But I would. Yeah, I would. It would. It is. I mean, it is. It's cool to watch it going around. Like it's a handy thing into go. So it is. It's amazing. Like it's amazing how it can just a mind of its own. Like it's just, and I can work both from the phone, Daniel, and from manually. Like and I can see there's a map in it too. There is.
Wow.
And how long would it take to do the house now compared to say you just, using the standard Hoover and just going around the house to actually do it yourself? Would you be, it might do the job as well, but would you sometimes be as quick doing it yourself? Like, do you know?
No, I'd let it go. I didn't do the whole house. I just did one room. But he did his playroom. I suppose I would let it off. I wouldn't, would it be faster? I suppose you're just beating the purpose, really. You want to try,
I suppose the point is it's able to do it by its own. You don't have to take out the big Hoover. Isn't that it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's, exactly. Why would I?
I suppose to let people know it's a Roborock. I think it's the S5 we got, and that we've given to Deirdre, and they're
S6 Max,
S6 Max. Sorry, and they there's a few different ones. There's an S5 and an S4 and an S7 even. But anyway, they all do roughly the same thing, and they have a LiDAR feature in it that maps out the house. Deirdre, did you see a map coming up on the app?
Yes, there's zones, different zones. The zone house, the zone, they can tell you, and
Yes. So then I suppose you could pick a room and then get that room done, or you could set a schedule if you're in bed, like the Hoover when you're not around or you're in bed. You know what I mean? And it's not the loudest thing in the world.
Yeah, no, it's very light. It's not that bulky. It's only. I suppose would it be the size of a? I haven't charged in the room. It's about the size of a.
Size of a basketball hoop, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of that way, 12 inches.
Yeah, that's it's very neat. I have a chart here on the playroom where he was. And I was saying there to your colleague, what fascinated me more was when it was finished, it needed to charge it. It went back to the port itself. It could find its way back. I didn't.
Well, that's excellent. That it goes back to the charging station, docking station. But
whatever.
And I've also heard of people connecting it to a smart speaker. Do you have an intention of doing that in the future, Deirdre? Connecting it to a Google Home or an Alexa?
I've done. Oh, no, actually, I haven't done the Alexa app on my phone. I download the app onto my phone.
Yeah.
I have the app on my phone, so I can monitor from the phone as well. Like, so the option of doing it from the phone and manually, can't you?
Yeah. I think we can connect it to the speaker and give it a command like start hoovering or hoover downstairs or hoover the sitting room. I think you can do that as well.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah, we got one. We got one at home there now. Recently enough, we didn't get one of the fancy ones. We didn't go with any of the Roborock ones, but our one now we've nicknamed him Dusty in the Alexa app, so you can tell Dusty to go and clean the floor, and Dusty will do his job, so it is great. They are great for things like that,
They are brilliant. They are. I must try that now. Actually, I must try that. I must get home now. I'll see how school goes first, if he's good there or not. But I must try the Alexa. I never thought of the Alexa. I know I did the app on my phone, alright. and then I did it manually. And then what fascinated me, and then I saw the little zones they clean, the little zones they've cleaned up. You can see the map, like you said. And then what fascinated me then was once it kind of went dead, the battery was going low, saying like, if you say low charging. And then I go back to the docking port. I was, oh my God, it's great. Do you know, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
So what's the practicalities? The practicalities of it are for a blind person. Then we supposed to narrow it down. If someone had a guide dog and they were not very good at hoovering or something, it might be a good product for someone to
fantastic!
To get. Yeah. Is it good to pick? Do you have a dog yourself, Deirdre? No.
No dog yet. No, she's what? Oh, she's 15. Oh, she's 14. Sorry, 14. No, we don't have a dog yet. No.
Yeah, I'd imagine it would be good at picking up dog hairs though, and to keep on top of things like that. You know.
Like I had what's called now, there was dust there in the playroom, a little bit, like, you know, and kind of there's a bit of, I suppose, things in the playroom, but yeah, picked up all them, you know, like, you know, so I suppose it would, pick up dust or whatever that, it would pick up, I suppose, dog hair. But
have you had
recommend.
And have you had an experience of it getting jammed yet? When you let go into it, or anything happened that it stopped working for any reason yet?
No.
Yeah,
no socks got cut up yet or anything like that.
No,
so you're lucky so far.
No, and there's a little brush that I see. There's a little brush there for cleaning that I see, and there's a filter and everything else. So it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, it seems pretty straightforward.
So you'd recommend it then?
Oh, of course, yeah. Sure, yeah.
If I can push you to give it a mark out of 10, what would you be giving it?
I suppose I'd give it 10 out of 10, actually. I would.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah, I would give it 10, yeah. Now they know the Alexa can do it. So, I mean, rather than, you know, I did think at the start putting the app on the phone was a bit tricky, I suppose, for anyone, I don't know, IT skills. I found it tricky, you know, so maybe someone that's visually impaired blind might, I suppose, I don't know, they find it a bit tricky. But now the Alexa, if you can hang it to Alexa, it's great, you know. So
yeah.
It makes it easier, you know. So I would give it, I give it 9 or 10 out of 10, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, Deirdre, thank you so much for telling us about it. And it's great that you're enjoying it. So thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a million.
And thank you. Nice day. And likewise, thank you.
Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye now. So yeah, a really cool product. It's a unique product, isn't it? And it's one area, I guess, of the smart home that hasn't taken off to the same extent as maybe smart speakers or smart lights. But it is a really cool area to go down. Joe, have you got a smart vacuum cleaner in the house yet? And is it an area you're going to go down?
I don't have one. David, but I'm the smartest vacuum cleaner you can get, David.
Sure. Yeah, got LiDAR built in there, boy.
Yeah. I know. Look, seriously, no, they are a great product. But I suppose the reason they haven't taken off is there is cheap ones out there, but the ones with the LiDAR and all the cool features are probably €500 plus. So the Roborock S6, I know it's in around the €500 mark. Yeah. Just to give people that extra bit of info. I don't know, we'll get questions about price, but it's especially good for anyone that has a smart speaker. You can give it numerous commands with the smart speaker, and it will pop up with little notifications on your phone when it's finished hoovering. You can connect schedules with it to do hoovering when you're in bed or when you're not in the house. I suppose one good thing is I did hear feedback from other people that they can get jammed, but you'll also get a notification to let you know that the product is jammed. So you can go and relieve it of its issues and then let it go on its way again.
Yeah.
So it might be a sock or a piece of, as I said, a piece of Lego if you have kids, or it could be a dog's toy or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And the bonus of the one Deirdre has, the S6, is it has a mopping feature. So it can do the hoovering and the mopping. So the mop will follow the actual hoover around at the back. It's like a little cloth that moves around a circle. And you put 300 mils of water in, and it will mop your floor as well. So mopping, that's the other job I hate. So you can do two at once.
Two birds with one stone. What about yourself, Daniel? Is it an area you'll go down?
Not at the moment, no. But I've seen the robotic lawnmowers, which would be, I suppose, the first cousin of the vacuum cleaner, and they're quite cool as well. So built on the same principle as well. So just for anyone out there that mightn't be aware that they exist too.
Yes, Daniel, they're two notorious jobs that are difficult for someone with visual impairment, I suppose. Cutting lawns and hoovering, so you have to go up and down with both of them and cover ground. So the same idea as you said. Husqvarna do great lawnmowers, robotic lawnmowers, and Stihl. I'm not sure. It's
Stihl, yeah.
Stihl, I think it's spelled.
HL, that's right.
They do great robotic lawnmowers.
I have one of them, but it's a push mower.
yeah.
Still have to do it manually, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm the smart app for that particular lawnmower.
Indeed. So yeah, really cool product, and great to see, that there are so many options for the smart home nowadays, and we're not going to just stop at robot hoovers and vacuum cleaners. We'll be going on to more smart technology in a bit, and I guess what we'll do as well is we'll come to you, I guess, next show, because you have been testing out a smart air fryer nonetheless. Everybody's been getting these air fryers for Christmas, but you got a smart one. Tell us about this little thing.
That's right, David. Well, one of our tasks this year was to test out products for their accessibility. So with the popularity of air fryers in the last few months, I suppose with the cost of living and things like that, people have been buying them. They're cheaper to use in an oven, they're quicker, they're neat and tidy, they don't take up a lot of space. So we went in a search to find some accessible ones, and I was testing two of them. So the smart one that I'm testing is called Cosori. It wouldn't be a popular brand over here. It'd be more popular in Australia and America. Actually, you can't even get it in any high street shops over here. You'd have to buy it off Amazon. But Cosori, it's Cosori, if I'm correct. The one we purchased, it's a 5.5 litre smart air fryer. The 5.5 means the capacity of the air fryer. So that means you'd fit in up to a small chicken, I suppose. It'd fit in 4 or 5 servings of chips, that kind of size, So it's a great device, and it's about, the size of it is about half the size of a microwave, just a tiny bit taller, but half the width of most microwaves, and it's sitting here on my counter.
Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning, because as you know, it's a very good place to start, Joe. What was it like when you took it out of the box? What was the kind of first impression? What did it actually require in terms of setup?
Yeah, well, I took it out of the box, and I was worried did it have a European plug on it, but it had a normal, an Irish English plug on it, so that was fine, and I plugged it in. But then I realised I had a touch screen. So touchscreen, I read up first that I actually knew it had a touchscreen, but I was wondering how will I access this. So I did need sighted assistance to set it up, because there's a Wi-Fi button you have to press. I suppose I could have used Be My Eyes, but I had some assistance with me at the time, which I was lucky. You have to press the Wi-Fi button. Once you have it in Wi-Fi mode, you download the VSync app. I think it's just VSync, SYNC, something like VSync. You get that in the App Store, iOS or Android, and then you have to sign up. The sign-up process is really easy. It's just an email and a password and your name and phone number, as far as I remember. So the sign-up was just as easy as any other app, and then you set it up like most other. After you press the Wi-Fi button on the touchscreen itself, you set it up like most other smart devices. You have to link the Wi-Fi to the device and link the Wi-Fi to your phone, and then they both link together, and you give your air fryer a name. So I just called mine Cosori Smart Air Fryer. It was something similar to the name it had already, but I took out the extra digits just in case I could connect it to a smart speaker, which didn't happen. But yeah, so the app itself, after the connection was successful, the app itself worked very well. But saying that, just before I move on to that, it was a little bit difficult to set up, because the name of the actual air fryer didn't appear in the list. There was a list of 5 or 6 other Cosoris, but then I had to type in a search box the exact name that was on the box. So if you aren't able to read that, you would also need a little hand with that and set up. So it's good to have assistance, if possible, to set this up when you're starting off.
And now that you have it, I guess, in a setup state, I guess, how accessible is it? Do you need sighted assistance with anything with it day to day, or is it fairly accessible kind of once it's set up for the first time?
Oh, once it's set up for the first time, personally, I don't need any sighted assistance. And once I discovered the actual way the air fryer works and stuff like that, I was fine. So basically, it's, as I said, it's like a tall square box with a drawer down the bottom. So the drawer at the bottom, you have to push a button forward and then pull it out like that. And that's me pulling out the drawer, and then you push it back in. And when you hear it clicking, it's locked again.
Okay.
If you are vision impaired and you had some vision, you might be able to see some of the features on the touchscreen.
Have we lost Joe there, I think?
Yeah, I think so. It was like...
It looks like we...
Sorry, my connection went there. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I was just saying, if you're vision impaired, you might be able to see some of the touchscreen features, because they're not that small. They're decent size, and the on and off button is a purple in color. It's different color to the rest of the touchscreen buttons. So somebody with some vision will have a chance of using it without the app as well.
Okay,
you could also put bump-ons, of course.
Absolutely. So when you're in the app, then what options do you have once it's set up?
Yeah, so will I open up the app and see, can we hear anything through my headset? If you can't hear it, just let me know and we'll...
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Page 7 of 7, adjustable.
So I have it on the 7 page of my phone, so I'm going to flick left and see, can I find the app?
Good Maps Outdoors. Missing.
You hear voiceover so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to flick right now. I'm in the app, so I'm going to flick right onto the Cosori air fryer.
Inbox, 13 and add devices, device, my devices, kitchen, manage, Cosori smart air fryer, back, button.
Now, once you enter on the Cosori air fryer, you might have heard that me double tapping into it. It actually has a list of recipes, which I don't really use, but I've read a few of them, and they're basic enough. They're more 4 or 5 step recipes, and then you get instructions of how to what to do with the air fryer, and you have a start cooking button. But usually,
are you saying you're beyond those basic recipes there, Joe?
I'm way beyond that now at this stage, David. No, I wish. No, but really, I'm very basic chef, so I keep it simple. Chips, steak, part baked bread, that kind of stuff I do in this.
What's your Michelin star item now, Joe, for your new air fryer?
Well, yeah, so when you're vision impaired, I suppose doing sausages and rashers and pudding, stuff like that is very difficult on a frying pan. So that's my Michelin star, the breakfast, I suppose.
Fair enough. Awesome.
Full Irish. So they come out really well in an air fryer, I find. Sometimes even better than they would on a pan. So you don't have to. That's another thing about having air fryers. To me, I find them a very safe device. I'm not giving, we'll say, health and safety advice here, but compared to frying, it's a lot safer. You can put the stuff in the drawer. I'll call it a basket or a drawer, and then you shove it in and start cooking. So I'll just give an example of how to start the device up. So down the bottom right, I'll read some of the headings of the actual recipes that are available. Then I'll move to the bottom right where the start cooking button is.
Bacon wrapped stuffed gelatinous, prosciutto wrapped asparagus, bacon wrapped shrimp, appetizers, breakfast, ginger blueberry scones, baked potted egg, button.
So there's some of the examples of the recipes that they give you. But now I'm going to move to the right and see, can I find the start cooking button?
Strawberry cream scone, start cooking, button.
Start cooking button. And I'm going to double tap on that.
Start cooking. Back, button. 15 minutes. Pick your item. Adjustable.
Now, so you see here we have different options like the time, so 15 minutes.
175 degrees C. Pick your item. Adjustable.
Is our temperature.
Time.
And I'm going to go up here and see what kind of options I have for the basic foods, like we'll say seafood and steak and things like that.
Temperature. Preheat. French fries. Button. Desserts. Frozen food.
So we'll go
bread.
down to French fries.
French fries.
I'm going to double tap there.
Selected. French fries.
And then all I have to do now is start cooking. We'll see what kind of temperature and time they recommend.
Preheat. Switch button. Temperature. Time. 195 degrees C. Picker. 25 minutes. Picker item. Adjustable. 25 of 60.
if I wanted to go a little bit longer or shorter, I just have to flick up and down with one finger. That's how I change these settings.
And does that, I was going to ask there, does that changes in increments of 1 minute then, does it?
That's right, exactly. So I can go back down. We'll say I'll just put it back down to 25.
25 minutes, 25 of 60.
And same with the temperature.
200 degrees C, 26 of 27.
That went in increments of 5 degrees. So I'm going to flick to the right so you can find the start cooking button now.
25 minutes, cook now, button.
Cook now, it's actually called. So I'm double tap there, and I'll go beside the air fryer and see will you hear it coming on.
Button.
Now you may or may not hear that coming on, but it sounds like a fan, a fairly loud fan coming on.
We can kind of hear that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it coming on, and then if you pull the drawer out at any stage, the air fryer will stop, and you can give your chips or fries a shake, and then you can just push it back in and it'll start again. And that's it. You wait your 20-25 minutes, and your French fries are done. This one is probably for homemade French fries, but the ones you buy the skinny ones you buy in the shop, they only actually take 10 minutes. You kind of learn these things from experience. So
yeah,
that's an idea of.
And does it give you a beep when it's done, Joe, to indicate that it's done or let you know? Actually, that's another good question. You actually get a notification on your phone. It says VSync sends you a notification. It says your food is ready. Enjoy. A little notification, which is nice. So that's nice.
So that pops up as well as a kind of a beep from the device itself.
Okay, good to know. So you enjoy it, like, yeah?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I actually really think it's a great. It's a great device in the kitchen, and it's kind of replaced my oven, really. You know, so I don't use the oven as much, and I suppose that's the whole point of people getting one of these devices is to save money, and I suppose it cooks food better because it's like basically it's a small convection oven, you know. So. And
how would you compare the smart version to, you know, your traditional Ninja devices? Because I think you have a Ninja unit there as well, but it's not a smart one.
I have a Ninja as well. I'm going to stop this now while I'm on the subject, right? So I'm going to just go to stop cooking. You hear that?
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about the Ninja.
Stop button.
Stop, and that's the fan noise in the background is gone. So that's how you stop cooking as well. Just if you do things manually, you don't have to pick things from the list like steak, fries and seafood or anything like that. You can actually pick manual as well, just to explain that for people in case they have their own way of doing things. And that's how you stop it. So I'll go and move on now to the Ninja. And the Ninja, now how do you make a Ninja accessible? First of all, if it doesn't have an app, a smartphone app. Well, the thing with the Ninja is there is buttons on it, and they're kind of clicky buttons, but they're very flat, so they're not really feelable or tactile, if you know what I mean. So and it has a little digital screen on it, so semi-digital and analog, if you know what I mean. So the screen tells you the temperature and the time. By default, the temperature is set to 200 degrees and the time is set to 20 minutes. So the way of making this accessible is by putting little bump-ons or locator dots. I chose locator dots because they're neater and I find them easier to put on buttons, and their stickiness is better than most bump-ons. And they don't take from the look of the device either. So I put a bump-on the top left button, which is the on-off button. So I'm going to press that now. And that's the signature Ninja sound that you hear. And then I have a bump on Max Crisp and Air Fry, and I'm going to press Air Fry, and that you might hear a little click. And then up in the very top right, there's a start stop button. So I'm going to press start. And drawer wasn't in, so that little dud beep you hear means the drawer wasn't in properly. So I'm going to push the drawer in, and now that means it's starting. So you can hear the fan on this as well, kicking off. So that means the air fryer has started, and I can stop it again up there on the right, and it's stopped. Or if you pull the drawer out, it also stops, and it's really it's fairly safe as far as I'm concerned as well. So it's quite an easy device to use. Takes a little bit more getting. You probably have to do a little bit more memorizing where things are, and I suppose make sure you're careful where you put your bump-ons and pick the buttons that you're going to use most often. Like, so this one is actually a dual air fryer, so there's 2 baskets. So I put a bump on box number 2 because box number 1 comes automatically on, so I don't need to put a bump on to that one. I didn't know how to find box number 2, so I had to put a bump on box number 2, drawer number 2, you might call it instead. And then I press 2, and I have to go through the procedure again. 2, then air fry, and then start. And that's how you use the Ninja. And they're both great devices. Just one is used differently than the other. One is smart, and one is, I suppose, it's not smart. It's digital, but not smart. You know what I mean?
Sure. So, if I had to push you, which one would you prefer, Joe? Do you think?
If you had to push me, I would prefer the Cosori. The Ninja it's a really brilliant device, but the Cosori gives me more access to all the different options that are available to people that could see the touchscreen.
Yeah.
You know, like and it gives me the option to push up the temperature and the time without guessing. You know.
Yes.
I know the temperature. I know it's set at 200 degrees on the Ninja, but at least I don't have to go double checking things by calling Be My Eyes or maybe a family member. I know it goes in 1 minute increments on the Ninja, and I could put a bump. Well, I do actually have a bump on the down button for the time, and if I press it 5 times, I know I'm down to 15 minutes. But just to have that peace of mind that you can double check it, you know, at least I have the app on the Cosori, and I can check how many minutes is left on cooking time, or I can actually set it up again myself if I want to reset it, or I get the notification that it's finished and that kind of stuff.
No.
So but that wouldn't suit everybody having a because not everybody uses a smartphone either.
Mm-hmm.
I have to keep that in mind. So you can make both devices semi-accessible with bump-ons to a very usable degree. You know what I mean?
And just, I suppose, you mentioned the smart air fryer there, but there was one thing you did flag, and you kind of alluded to it earlier on as well, but it's supposed to be able to link in with Alexa, but you haven't got that working. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that, I guess?
That's another point on the on us testing out these devices for people is to see what works and what doesn't work. So one feature that we were very hopeful of working was the Alexa one, because we've seen on YouTube that there's people using it, and I think there are American videos, people setting cooking methods and times and temperatures. They'd say something like the A word and set the Cosori Smart Air Fryer to 15 or we'll say 200 degrees temperature, or set the Cosori Smart Air Fryer to 15 minutes. Something like that, you know. But when I linked it to the Alexa app, it actually told me that that feature wasn't available. And I read some reviews down the bottom in the Alexa app, in the actual skill, the VSync skill. Some people complained if I knew this didn't link to the Amazon Echo, I would not have bought the product. So it's only in the EU that it doesn't work, I think. I'm not sure why, but it would. That is the only downfall, I suppose. That's the complaint I'd have, is it's not linkable to your smart speaker over here yet. So, but hopefully it's something they will include soon. I did email them some feedback, but we'll hope maybe in the next year or so, maybe as these products get more popular. They are very popular as they keep getting sold out in Amazon and other high street shops. The Cosori, as I said, is not available in high street, but the Ninjas get sold out, and you have to wait for them to come back in. So that's the story.
But even with that said, you're still a fan.
I'm still a fan, and it's relatively it's relatively cheap. It's under the €200 mark. So I think it was something like 150, and there was a sale lately you could get for 115. So the prices vary, but between the 150 and the €100 mark, you can get the Cosori.
That's pretty
good.
And
the Ninja, the dual Ninja AF300, that was €240 at the time. don't know exactly what it was or what it is now, but I mean, people can check these prices out for themselves and make a decision on them. Prices vary; they go up and down all the time, as you know, David.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you so much for showing it off. A really cool product. It's great to see something like that. Like traditionally, air fryers, they might not be the most accessible, but you found a fairly accessible version of one there, which is really cool.
Yeah, look at it this way, David. It's as accessible as any oven you'd buy. So and the food is actually better than
that's true.
What comes out of most ovens, and it's healthier and safer, in my opinion. So hopefully people enjoyed that review, and maybe they might even purchase one and give us some feedback.
Absolutely.
To labs@ncbi.ie.
Very informative, Joe. Thank you so much. Really cool product. Really cool product. And another really cool product that we'll show you today. Yes, we did tell you that we were going to have a packed show. Is a product that comes into play if Joe ever does burn those chips in that air fryer. The Nest Protect smoke alarm is a smart smoke and carbon monoxide alarm that you can get either a battery version or hardwired into your house. It takes the traditional smoke alarm to a whole new level. Earlier this weekend, I had the smoke alarms at home, and I recorded a quick demo just to show you how it works and to show you the app and all the smart features in the Nest Protect. So this is what happened when I tested out the Google Nest Protect 2nd generation smart smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. Hello and welcome to my humble abode, where in front of me I have a Google Nest Protect, specifically the Google Nest Protect 2nd generation. Now, these are smart smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. So you probably have a smoke alarm or carbon monoxide alarm in the house, but this is a smart equivalent of that. We'll take a look, first of all, at the actual product itself, and then we'll take a look at the app afterwards. But in terms of the product's design, it's square, unlike most smoke or carbon monoxide alarms. They tend to be circle, especially the kind of home installed ones, but this is a square. It's a bit heavier and it feels very well built. It's quite a strong plastic. As I say, it's square, but in the middle of the unit there is a circular button, and that button has a number of different features, which we'll go through in just a second. But the alarm connects via Wi-Fi, and it uses Thread, which is another wireless standard, to connect to other Nest Protect smoke alarms in the house. So if you have more than one Nest Protect, you will be able to actually have them all linked together. So if one goes off, they'll all go off. And I do have a second Nest Protect in this room as well, so you will be able to hear that as well in a minute when we do some testing with it. So I guess the square device, as I say, has a little circular button in the middle. And that button is very easy to feel. And that button is used for a number of different things. It can be used to silence the alarm if the alarm goes off. But what I'll demo with doing here is testing the alarm. So traditionally, you'll be used to alarms just beeping. But this alarm is unique in that it talks. So it will talk you through its testing process, for example. But if the alarm goes off, it won't just, beep loudly. It will beep loudly and it will tell you where the issue is. So, for example, it will say that there is smoke in the bedroom or there is smoke in the kitchen. And it will also give you a heads up warning as well. So before you have the full volume beeping and announcement that there is smoke in whatever location there is smoke, it will give you a little bit of an indication first. So if you've just burned something in the oven, it gives you a little heads up before you go to full alarm. The voice is very easy to hear. It's quite loud and clear. You'll hear that in a second too. But yeah, really well built, kind of sturdy device. So to show you how the device works, I've got it here, and I'm going to press the center button. This device is set up for the bedroom.
Ready in the bedroom. Press to test.
So you heard its instructions there. It says press to test. There is a little circular LED around the circular button. So if you do have some vision, that LED also, depending on its color, will indicate some of the device's statuses. So, you know, when the alarm is going off, for example, it will be red when it's giving you a heads up warning. It will be yellow if everything's okay. It will be green or whatever, and that can also act as a night light, which it has a motion sensor in it. So if you have this installed on the ceiling and you walk past it, it will act as a night light, which is really cool. Your normal smoke alarm can't do that. So let's press this to test it. So I'm going to press once.
Ready in the bedroom. Press to test.
And press again.
This is only a test. The alarm will sound. It's going to be loud. The test starts in 5 seconds. Press to cancel.
And I'm going to move it away from the mic just slightly.
Testing smoke. Testing carbon monoxide.
Now it's going to test the other device in this room. I'll wait for it to test the other device.
Just a moment. Testing.
Stop the other device. And that is basically a sound check that it's doing. So it does that on all the devices. So it tests its smoke, carbon monoxide, and then it tests the actual sound on the devices. So I'll bring it over. It should finish up shortly. So there's still a blue LED at the moment. I'll wait for it to finish up. It'll indicate with its voice when it's done.
Finishing up.
There we go.
The test is finished. Everything looks fine.
Good to know. And that will indicate as well, for example, if there is a low battery or if anything at all is wrong with it. If it can't connect to the internet, it will let you know. It will let you know if there's a low battery, as I say. It will let you know everything. It will check all of its sensors. Absolutely everything gets checked in that test. So that's a quick way to know that if everything is okay. You only have to do it once, because once you press it on one device, it checks all of the smart smoke alarms on the network, which is good. So you don't have to go around and test in every single room. You can just use one. You can use one device to test it, which is really cool. Now, I mentioned that the device connects to Wi-Fi, and you might wonder, why would a device like this connect to Wi-Fi? Well, if you're out of the house and something is detected, let's say smoke or carbon monoxide, it will send a notification to your phone so you can make sure that everything is okay. And it also sends regular updates to the app about things like its battery, all sorts of status information, and you can check that in a history log, which is available on the app. You can also customize settings using the app. So for example, you can change the brightness of the nightlight feature on the app and a load of other functions as well. So I'll show you the app in just a second, but generally really well built device, very clear speaker on it. I'm not going to test setting it off now because I don't want to burn the place down, but it is very clear, very easy to hear, quite accessible. You know, everything is very easy to feel. It's a nice, well-built device. And yeah, it's really good quality product. But let's switch over to take a look at the Nest app. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the Nest app. So I'm going to give you a quick demo of the Nest app. It is installed on the phone here. So I've got VoiceOver on, so you'll be able to hear what I'm doing.
Nest.
And let's double tap to open.
Nest. Nest logo. Image. Blue sky. Logo other.
So let's just give it a second.
Home is currently set to home. Button.
Okay, so now let's go to the Protect section.
Bedroom Protect. Status, OK, button.
So that's the nearest protect to me. So that's what's going to use to connect. I'm going to double tap.
Everything is OK, button.
And
Diagram.
here we are.
Everything. There was a problem while connecting to the Nest service.
Okay,
There
not
was a
ideal.
problem while
Let's try
connecting to
that
the
again,
Nest
shall
service.
we?
Bedroom protect. Bedroom. Everything is OK, button. Everything is OK.
So
button.
let's go through this
Diagram.
section, shall we?
Everything is bedroom, kitchen, living room, master bedroom,
So you can see the different protect devices there. You can double
Living
tap
room.
any of these
kitchen, bedroom,
and you can
bedroom.
see the details on it.
Sensors. 9 minutes ago.
So that's when it was last checked.
Alarm. 10 minutes ago. Voice. 10 minutes ago. Battery. 9 minutes ago. Wi-Fi. 9. Back. Nest logo. There was a problem while connecting to the Nest service. Try again in a few
there,
minutes.
it seems to have bugged out again.
Home is
Let's
currently
try
bedroom
a third
protect.
time.
Status. Bedroom. Everything. Back. There was a problem while back. Button.
Okay, so it seems to be bugging out. Let's try this
There was a
again,
problem while
shall we?
connecting to the
And
Nest service.
move to a different
Try again in a few
location
minutes.
and try this again. Okay, time for attempt 2. So I've come to a location closer to the Wi-Fi. There shouldn't be any issues with the Wi-Fi in that other room, but for some reason it's refusing to connect. So let's give this another go.
Bedroom protect.
I'll double
Status.
tap.
OK. Button. Bedroom. Nest. Everything is OK. Button.
And I've showed you
Diagram.
this section
Everything
before.
is OK. Everything is
So
OK. But bedroom. Kitchen.
I can go through the different
bedroom.
devices.
Kitchen. Kitchen. Last checked. Sensors. 12 minutes ago. Alarm. 12 minutes ago. Voice. 12 minutes ago. Battery. 12 minutes ago. Wi-Fi. 12 minutes ago.
So you can hear there it's been checked recently enough.
Page 2 of 4. See history. Button.
So there is a see history button. So I can double tap here to see the history from the device.
February. Saturday. 4. OK. Friday. 3. OK. Thursday. 2. OK. Wednesday. 1. OK. Tuesday. January. Tuesday. 31. OK.
So I can go through the history here. And these all show up in green.
Saturday. 28. OK. Friday. 27. Smoke.
So this, you will see there on the 27th, it has recorded that there was smoke. We accidentally set off the alarm cooking the dinner. That's what happened there. It didn't actually go to full alarm. It just gave us a little warning, just to be a bit careful. So there you can see, if you have vision, that it is in yellow rather than green. But the long and short of it is, this section of the app is fully voiceover accessible, which is really cool.
Back. Button. Back.
There are
Kitchen.
other things you can do in here. You can access the settings.
31% back. Settings. Button. Collapsed. Silencing alarms. Status. On. Button.
So that allows you to silence with the center button.
About. Heading. What to do. Button. Protects. Heading. Bedroom. Button.
So in here, it lets you do different settings for different devices. So let's say bedroom.
Nest sense. Heading. Collapsed. Path light. Status. Off. Button.
So that is the night light. We don't obviously want the night light coming on and off in the bedroom all the time. Hence why that's off in this location. We only have that on in the kitchen and sitting room.
Collapsed. Nightly promise. Status. On. Button.
So Nightly Promise is the feature that allows the device to flash a green light when you turn off the lights in the room. So when you turn off the lights, it gives a little flash of green just to let you know that it's working and that everything's okay. That's called Nightly Promise, and you can toggle that on and off here in the app.
Collapsed. Steam check. Status. On. Button.
So Steam Check. Steam Check just prevents the alarm going off when it detects steam. It allows it to better distinguish what's steam, what's smoke, so on and so forth.
Collapsed. Heads up. Status. On. Button.
So Heads Up is that pre-warning system that I told you about. If you don't want that, you can turn it off.
Device options. Heading.
And then there are the device options here.
Collapsed. Brightness. Status. Medium. Button.
So there's the brightness.
Spoken language. Status. English UK. button.
So you can change that as well. There is no English-Irish option, so we have the UK, but there is also English-US as well as a number of international languages too.
Collapsed Wi-Fi connection. But about heading.
And there is just the Wi-Fi connection and about. So really detailed product. It's a smart smoke alarm. Quite an unconventional product, but it's a really cool product to have in the smart home. And look, it's not going to do anything particularly different to a traditional smoke alarm, but it may make you feel that little bit more comfortable. It may be more convenient for you to test in one location rather than having to test each location individually. The nightlight feature may be beneficial to you to just have a little additional nightlight in the ceiling. And it may be convenient for you to know where something has happened rather than just wondering, you know, where is the smoke, to be able to be told specifically the smoke is in the kitchen or the bedroom or whatever. That may be beneficial to you. There are other useful features as well that might be of benefit, such as those notifications for the app. So, for example, you could have this in someone else's home if you needed to, let's say that of a family member, and you can keep an eye on things just to make sure that everything's okay. So a really cool, unique product that, hey, it might make you feel that little bit more comfortable than a traditional smoke alarm, but ultimately they're going to do much of the same things, really. The Nest Protect does come at a cost. It's a very expensive product. The price varies, so it's pointless us going into a whole lot of pricing detail, but at full price, you are looking to spend probably in the region of €100 per unit. So they are very, very expensive devices compared to other smoke alarms on the market. But like all these things, it's one of these things you need to decide for yourself. Is it accessible? Yes. Is it a good product? Yes. But is it very expensive? Absolutely. You have to make the call whether that €100 price or whatever it might be is worth it for you. You can get it in a load of different retailers. It's available on Amazon, and the likes of Curry's sell it, DID Electrical sell it. A number of Irish retailers sell it. The device lasts around 10 years, like any standard smoke alarm. So a good quality product, but whether it's worth it, you have to decide for you. I'm very happy with my purchase. I did get it reduced. I got mine in a sale. So do look out for those deals. Those deals do exist from time to time, but a cool product. But is it for everyone? No. And that's something you just need to look at and decide for yourself. Now, you might listen to this and think, well, what about all those connection issues you had using the app? And that is a very valid question. And it's an issue that I have had with the product. The app does seem unreliable in certain circumstances. It really does need to be quite close to your Wi-Fi hub to actually work effectively, and I'm not 100% sure why that is. I don't have poor internet in the house, but there are many regions in the house where the internet can be perfect for everything else, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to want to play a game with the Nest app. So that is something worth keeping in mind. I have found that when you do go to a really kind of, stable location in the house, it does seem to work. But for whatever reason, there is that little issue with reliability there. So that is also one thing to keep in mind. So all that said, hello and a really cool product, generally. I personally really like it, but yeah, whether it's for you or not, that's for you to decide. We did have a question in on the air fryers. JP, we had a question in, I believe, from, was it David Nason?
We did, yeah. Dave was in touch, and it's a question for Joe on the back of your review of the air fryer, Joe, which is very interesting. I have a Ninja like yourself, Joe, and I'd certainly be tempted to upgrade, I would say now, to the Cosori on the back of your demo today. Question in for yourself, Joe, is this: is there a 2-drawer version of the Cosori, and how exactly do we spell Cosori?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, there is a 2-drawer. A quick search on Amazon, you'll find a dual blaze 6.4 litre dual Cosori. I think this means there's 2 drawers. There is a dual element one as well, so don't get confused. There's a dual element one which has an element on the bottom and on the top. But anyway, something to keep in mind when you're buying a dual drawer one is you won't be able to cook a full chicken in it because there is 2 drawers. That means each drawer will be only 3 litres or so capacity. So you won't be able to cook a full size chicken in it unless you think of some other magic way of doing it. Maybe cut the chicken in half.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can cut it in half.
Yeah. But that'd be the point of it. I think for some people, you have to decide what you're going to be, what your food of choice is, and what kind of family you are and stuff. Sometimes you're better off to buy a bigger air fryer with 1 drawer and maybe buy dividers. You can buy special dividers in many different shops, and including online off the actual suppliers of the air fryer. So I've heard of people doing that. But to spell Cosori anyway, Cosori. So that's Cosori, Cosori. So if you do a quick Google of that, the first thing that will pop up is air fryers. So you make your choice from there. And you just have to make sure, I suppose, if you go to it's probably Amazon, I suppose, is your only choice for buying it online as far as we can see. But the co.uk one will get you the correct plug for this region, and off you go. See how you get on. Download the app and connect through Wi-Fi and give it a try. And so we'd love to hear your feedback of how you get on with it as well, David.
Absolutely. I think David Nason is about to spend some money.
Yeah.
So yeah, really cool products there. We'll have to look at upgrading our own air fryer, although I think we might wait for a little while, wait for that technology to evolve, see what the future brings. You know. And
David, just tell people, keep in mind, you don't have to go smart. The bump-ons is almost as good of a choice because you will get 95% of the value out of it, and don't forget FaceTime. Be My Eyes is always a friend as well when you need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good point, Joe.
Yeah, and David, your overall thoughts on the Google Nest Protect smoke alarm? Do you think is it worth it? I know it's a few extra euro for your smoke alarm, but is it worth it? Like in terms of the features it gives you, and I like that it gives you the notifications. If you're out of your house and it goes straight to your phone.
Yeah, I really like the product. I really like the product, but I can't deny it is very, very expensive if you're paying full price. I found
it interesting. You have one. You put one in your bedroom. You're
yes. So
being extra careful.
Yeah, so we put one in. What we had before is we had the standard smoke alarms, and then we had one carbon monoxide alarm in the master bedroom because that's where the boiler is. So it made sense to put the carbon monoxide alarm in there. But what we've now done is we've upgraded to the Nest Protects. We bought 4 Nest Protects, which they came in around €75 a pop when I got them in the sale. So a very expensive investment, but we now have one in the kitchen, sitting room, and the 2 bedrooms. So we've now got carbon monoxide and smoke alarms in all rooms. And it's been great for the kitchen and the sitting room because, if you go down for milk at night or whatever, it's great because you have the night light in the kitchen and you don't have to turn on any other lights or whatever. So David, really good.
That's good.
You're not just paying for a smoke alarm. When you hear the word smoke alarm, you think, oh, that's very expensive, but you're getting carbon monoxide and you're getting a night light and you're also getting the accessibility of being able to check the status on your phone as a visually impaired person.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way to look at it. It is. I do still think it's a very expensive product. I think it could be reasonably priced, and there are some things that I'd like to see it kind of evolve a little bit with. I think It could link in with, you know, smart speakers and stuff a bit more to, you know, be able to ask the smart speaker to test the smoke alarms or whatever the case may be, rather than having to reach up to try and press the button if you've got it installed on the ceiling. So there are certainly little improvements that I think you could make, but overall, I've been very impressed with the product. It's well built, well designed. The voice quality on it is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it is very expensive though. So you do have to keep that in mind, I guess. So yeah, will you be getting one, Joe?
Not right now, David. I have my house set up with smoke alarms. Maybe when these smoke alarms kick the bucket, I might be tempted.
Yeah.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah. Cool product though. Cool product.
Thanks for the info, David. It's great review.
Cheers.
Yeah, to make an interesting claim on their page that back in the 1970s it would have took 30 minutes for an average room to catch fire. Now it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I thought that was a very interesting claim from the manufacturer. So yeah, I can see them there. They're online directly from Google for $129 for anyone is interested in the price. You might get them a little bit cheaper in some retailers.
Yeah, I think you can get them much cheaper. As I say, ours were around 75 quid a pop. So do look around for the deals because they can be got for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But our next topic is some really cool tech news. And we haven't had a whole lot of tech news in a while, but it's great to get some exciting tech news once in a while. We have a new feature coming to Microsoft's Seeing AI, and it feels a bit familiar because they have taken some of the cool stuff from Microsoft's Soundscape and they have brought it over to Seeing AI with a new indoor navigation feature. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what this indoor navigation feature means, what we think of it, and our thoughts on it in just a minute. But before we do that, we want to give you a little demo of how the new indoor navigation feature in Seeing AI works. So last week I took a trip down to the reception area here in the NCBI Cork office. I created a route going from the reception to the kitchen, and now what you're going to hear is a demo of how that route actually sounds and how it works. So this is a demo of the indoor navigation feature using Microsoft's Seeing AI. So I'm here in the reception of the Cork office at the NCBI, and I'm going to give you a quick demo of the new indoor navigation feature in Seeing AI. So I'm in the World channel. I'm going to start by double tapping the Actions button.
Actions button.
Double tap.
Seeing AI. Cancel.
And then
button.
I'm going to go to Indoor Navigation.
Indoor navigation button.
I can now select my route.
Routes. Quick help. Add. Nearby. B Cork reception to kitchen.
And let's go from reception to kitchen.
Follow button.
I'll double tap the follow button. You can also press share or a more button from this menu.
Loading route. Looking for B Cork reception.
And now I can hear in my ear, and you'll be able to hear in headphones, that there's a tone. So I can just continue to follow that tone.
Door.
And I've heard a marker there. So you're hearing the doors as they're around me.
Door.
That marker has now moved to my right, so I can turn right, realign, and continue. And you're hearing markers along the way here.
Door.
Lots of doors around here.
Door.
And now we're approaching a turn. So you can hear that now has moved slightly over.
Table.
Chair.
Table.
So lots of chairs and tables. So we're clearly entering the kitchen now.
Chair.
Realign again to get the beacon in front of me. Move forward.
Chair.
And that sound
Menu.
means
Button.
that I am in the kitchen, and I
Chair.
am
Window.
indeed
Chair.
in the kitchen. I can tap the table, I can have my lunch here, have my dinner here, whatever I need to do. So a really cool navigation feature and a really cool new feature in Seeing AI.
So yeah, really cool new feature. It's slightly hard to hear via Teams how that spatial audio works. So if you do want to hear that audio in its full quality, you can go to ncbi.ie, go to the technology news section, and you will find the audio there as part of the art.
Lost you there, David?
Oh, you lost me? Oh dear, can you hear me?
You're back there again. Yeah, you're back.
Oh,
now.
there we go. I was just saying that that spatial navigation feature can be a bit hard to hear over Microsoft Teams, but if you do want to hear that in its full quality, you can go to ncbi.ie, go to the technology news section, and from there you will be able to find a full quality version of that linked to the newsletter article that we posted on the subject. But really cool feature. Have any of you got to try out the feature? Joe, have you got to try out the feature, and what do you think of the idea?
I think the idea is very good. In the space I've tried it wasn't much use, only a small space. I think it'd be more useful in a bigger space like a college or an assembly hall of a school, or maybe your
an airport or something,
or airport or work offices, maybe civil service offices or something that's a bit more enormous than where I am. You know, I'm curious to wonder, would it actually work outside, maybe in a housing estate or something like that? Is there anything stopping it working outside?
It's something I haven't tested, but it's one worth testing for sure. Perhaps, you know,
yeah, so,
it's an interesting idea.
Maybe you could mark a bench in your housing estate or a little park or something. But yeah, I know it's for indoors. Where I tried it, I didn't find it much use. It's in very small spaces. It's not much use. But in more open spaces like assembly halls or big offices, it will be of big use. Maybe even hotels. You know, it'll be better use.
I wonder, would it be useful maybe for someone maybe accessing their garden or something like that? You know, they might want to go out and get something from the garden or go to the clothesline even or something like that, and as a wayfinder for that. Or I'm thinking maybe somebody putting out their wheelie bin, you know, going out to the front gate to collect that. Maybe the guy in the lorry left it a couple of meters away from where he picked it up, and get your wheelie bin back. Just wondering, would it be good like that for that kind of feature?
It certainly could be, you know.
I think it only finds static. It only finds static items, so it's like it'll only find items you mark yourself. You know what I mean? So if someone moves something, you won't find it that way. They just not to give anyone the wrong idea.
Yes and no. So I guess it can. You heard there as I walked along, it announced things like tables, chairs, doors, ovens, so on. So certain items like that, if they move, they will be announced in spatial audio. And that's using the device camera. So that technically, I don't know if that's limited to phones with LiDAR. I believe it is. But if you have one of the newer iPhones, that is an option that you might be able to take advantage of for a circumstance like that, you know, finding the bin or whatever the case may be.
Okay, maybe so. Then I suppose, again, it was announced and they made it... it's another research product, so we'll be hoping. Soundscape disappeared. Maybe we're hoping this might develop a little bit more into that period or that place, you know. Yeah. So the channels, there is numerous channels on Seeing AI. Some people might say there's too many channels, but hopefully it will expand into that kind of area, and with the LiDAR and stuff like that, it can only get better.
I suppose it's important to say that this has only really came along last week. So, you know, with the latest update, I think it came on the 1st of February or something like that. So it's not even a week old at this stage. And you can be sure of it that, you know, if they've put such investment of time and resources integrating this channel, that they will develop it further and improve it and add on more functionality to it, I can imagine.
So here's a question then, right? The feature at the moment requires you or a sighted assistant or an orientation and mobility instructor or whoever the case may be to create the route for you. But would you trust routes created by other people that have been added to a public database in places like an airport, let's say? Because an orientation and mobility instructor will be able to assist you in a lot of places, but perhaps not all.
That's a good question, David. We could leave that for people's feedback, but it depends. Well, if the place is going to stay static, yes, I suppose you would trust it. I suppose people could maybe share if there was a problem with it, so it could be fixed, that kind of thing, But as I said, it's early days. It's only released a week, and we'll hopefully see another update fairly soon. I'd say this thing could be updated maybe once every month or 2 months by the time there's feedback submitted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say that that's a purely hypothetical scenario, but it is interesting that, at the moment, you can either create the route yourself or with a sighted assistant or whatever the case may be, or you can text and share routes to and from other people. So there are two ways to get routes at the moment, but there is no public database of routes. So you're not going to be able to walk into a library, let's say, and use it to find the desk, because chances are, if you haven't been there before, that route won't exist on your phone. So it is something worth noting, but a really interesting feature all the same.
Yeah, I think I like the idea that you could share a route with somebody. So I think it's definitely an exciting development, and to see where this goes to is going to be an interesting story.
Absolutely. Exciting times ahead, as they say.
Yeah.
Exciting times ahead. Well, I think that's about it for this episode of Talking Technology. We've had a packed episode, from everything from smoke alarms to Hoovers, but thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the last hour and a bit of the show. We are back in 2 weeks' time, although it might not be us that's here. You'll find out about that in a little while. Some really exciting changes in 2 weeks' time, but we'll keep that a secret for now. We have loads of exciting things coming down the road. As always, if you want to get in touch with us at NCBI Labs, you can always email labs@ncbi.ie. And in the meantime, do subscribe to the newsletter. You can check out NCBI Live Radio at ncbi.ie/live. And all the cool stuff that we do here at the digital content side of Labs. We are delighted with some of the great content that you've been enjoying. So thank you so much for supporting us in making that over the last little while. That's it for this edition of Talking Technology. We'll be back really, really soon. So stick around. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with NCBI Labs. If you would like to support our show, you can visit donate.ncbi.ie. The NCBI Labs Talking Technology podcast is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in the provision of digital accessibility services.